Okay, this is how the operating system works on a mod that uses the Nivel Chip. There are two states to the Nivel Chip, on and off. The functions available in the on state are vaping, obviously, as well as power control, voltage up or down or wattage up or down. In the off state, which it is in now, the atomizer won't fire, but it will allow you to get into the menu, which allows you to access the advanced functions. So let's go ahead and start by turning it on. You turn on the device by clicking 3 times. On, and it's telling me that my voltage is 3.7 volts. Anytime you turn it on, it'll tell you whatever your current setting is. Now, if I wanted to make it more than 3.7 volts, I can do it from this section, from the on state. 5 quick taps. I'm in the up, and I can change 3.7 volts to whatever I want. After you set the voltage, as soon as it stops blinking, it's ready to vape. I can also turn it down the same way. Now, if I turn the device off, oh, and one more thing. When you vape, it will display on the screen here your current battery life as a graphical representation using LEDs. Right now, that means I'm about half battery. Those 3 little ticks on this side, when you have a full battery, there'll be 3 little ticks on the other side, kind of like making something that resembles a battery, I suppose. But anyway, as your battery life goes down, the LEDs will disappear one at a time from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 to 1. 3 quick clicks will turn the unit off. It's also going to display something that's called the timer function, I suppose, which we'll talk about later. If I want to now go and change to variable wattage, I can go a few clicks, and instead of set volt, I do set power. So right there, it's set at 9.2 watts. Now if I do exit this mode and turn the unit on, it's going to tell me my power is 9.2 watts. If I want to change it, I can increase. You'll notice when it gets to 10 watts, 10.5 watts is represented by the little dot. Just like if I go to 11, 11.5 will be the little dot. So we're now set at 11.5 watts. The next function is the timer, which is, The next function is the timer, which is really interesting. It's something I thought I wasn't going to use, but I'm actually kind of obsessed with it. It's pretty cool. What the timer's doing is it's actually counting the amount of time that you are actually vaping. That is, when you're pushing the button down and delivering power to the atomizer. It keeps track of that. Every 5 seconds you do that, it adds it to its tally. It's kind of interesting because now I know exactly how much I vape in a day. I vape for 15 minutes. I thought that was a really low number, but I guess if you think of it as all coming in little 5-second bursts, I guess it makes sense. But the other really interesting thing about it is for modders, or anyone really who buys this, what you can now do is you can objectively determine how long the batteries are actually lasting in your device. Let's say the Lexi is a sealed case, so there's no end user replaceable batteries. Obviously, on most mods you can take your batteries in and out. So if you popped in a couple of batteries, reset your timer to 0, and then used it all day until the batteries died, you could look and see objectively that those batteries lasted you 18 minutes or whatever, and compare them to a different battery to objectively see which battery really works better in your mod. I think that's a pretty handy thing, pretty cool. To access the timer, you go to the X, and it's going to display 0 hours and 8 minutes. That means I've been vaping for 8 minutes since I last reset the timer. If I actually do want to reset the timer, I just go to the timer, and I hit the button that gives me a prompt to clear, which I do, and now it's at 0 hours and 0 minutes, so the timer's been reset. You can also control the intensity of the screen by doing set display. Right now is at 3. I can make it brighter, 4, still brighter, 5. It'll cycle back around to 1, which is quite dim. I usually keep it at 2 or 3. So now the brightness of the display is set at 3. The set LED function allows you to tell the unit how you want the LED and the LCD screen to operate. Right now, both things are going to light up when I hit the button to vape. Now only the LED will light up. Now only the display will light up, and of course you can mute. One of those that I skipped over was mute all of the activity altogether. So when you vape, it'll be silent, no flashing of anything. Next thing you can do is check the resistance of your atomizer. That's RA. As you can see, this is a 1.5 ohm HH357 atomizer. There's another function called overload, which basically you program in. If you exceed a certain number of minutes of vaping in a day, the device shuts off and you're not allowed to vape. Frankly, I'm too scared to even experiment with it, so I certainly have not. I have certainly not engaged this. What do they call it? I think overload. Yeah, overload. Yeah, as you can see, it is off and will stay that way permanently. No thanks. Lastly, you can check the firmware of your device. The firmware is version 1.70.